In the peaceful village of humans in Enugu State, there lived a handsome young man named Chukwudi and a beautiful, gentle girl named Gozi. From childhood, they were close friends. They fetched water together from the village stream, attended school side by side, and sat under the big mango tree in the village square listening to elders tell stories of brave ancestors and wise spirits. As they grew, their friendship blossomed into deep love. When they became adults, Chukwudi visited Gozi's parents with palm wine, kola nuts, and his family members to ask for her hand in marriage. After proper Igbo marriage rites were performed, the breaking of kola, the blessing of elders, and the joyful dance of both families, the two lovers became husband and wife. The whole village of humans celebrated with drumming, dancing, and songs that echoed into the night. At first, their marriage was full of laughter and peace. Every morning, Gozi swept the compound while Chukwudi tended his farm. In the evenings, they shared meals and dreams under the moonlight. But after 1 year, then 2, then 3, Gozi did not become pregnant. Slowly, whispers began in the village. Is Gozi barren? Should Chukwudi marry another woman? Children stopped asking when they would have a baby to play with. Some women looked at Gozi with pity, others with mockery. The silence in her heart grew heavier than the loads she carried on her head. One evening, Chukwudi's mother called him aside. "My son," she said firmly, "our lineage must not end. You must take another wife." Chukwudi lowered his head. He loved Gozi dearly, but the pressure from family and community grew stronger each day. Gozi noticed his troubled face and knew the storm was coming. One night, Chukwudi said sadly, "My love, I do not want another woman, but my family is forcing me." Gozi held his hands tightly and replied, "Give me a little more time. I believe my tears will turn to joy." But soon, Chukwudi's family began preparing to find another wife. They planned visits to neighboring villages and gathered bride price items. Drums that once beat for celebration now beat for painful expectations. Gozi's heart was breaking, yet she refused to stop praying. Every morning, she visited the old mango tree where they once played as children. There, she poured her heart out to God and whispered to the spirits of her ancestors. Then, like the rising sun after a long night, Gozi discovered she was pregnant. Her knees trembled with joy. She ran through the red earth path, breathless and smiling, and cried out, "My husband! I am carrying our child." Chukwudi froze, then lifted her in the air and danced around the compound. Laughter replaced sorrow. Immediately, he stopped all preparations to marry another woman. Messengers were sent to his family to cancel the bride price plans. The news spread across humans like Harmattan fire. The same people who once mocked Gozi now praised her strength and faith. Months later, Gozi gave birth to a healthy baby boy. The cry of the newborn was like music to the village. Drums sounded again in humans. Women elated, men fired local guns into the air, and elders gathered under the mango tree to bless the child. Chukwudi carried his son proudly and said, "This child is proof that patience and love conquer all." Gozi smiled, her tears finally turned to laughter. She touched the mango tree's trunk and whispered, "From here, our story began, and from here, our joy has returned." And from that day, their home in humans was filled with peace, laughter, and gratitude, a reminder to the whole village that hope never dies. And from that day, their home in humans was filled with peace, laughter, and gratitude, a reminder to the whole village that hope never dies. But the story of Chukwudi and Gozi did not end there. As their son grew, they named him Chibuzo, meaning God is the way. From the day he began to crawl, the compound was filled with playful cries. Gozi carried him on her back to the farm, and Chukwudi lifted him high in the air, teaching him the ways of a father's love. The mango tree that once witnessed their childhood friendship now became Chibuzo's playground. Elders often sat under it, smiling as they watched the boy run around, his laughter ringing through the village square. One afternoon, Chukwudi's mother, who once pressured him to marry another woman, sat beside Gozi. She held Chibuzo in her arms and said softly, "My daughter, forgive me for the pain I caused. I spoke from fear for our lineage. But you have proved that patience brings blessings." Gozi bowed respectfully and replied, "There is no anger in my heart. Today, joy has swallowed every sorrow." From that day, Peace truly entered the family. Seasons passed, and Gozi gave birth to 2 more children, a girl and another boy. The whispers that once followed her turned into songs of praise. Women who once mocked her now came to seek her advice when life tested their own faith. Gozi became known in humans as Nwanyik, the woman of strength. She encouraged young brides never to lose hope, reminding them that time and faith work together like rain and seed. Chukwudi's farm prospered. With the help of his children, he expanded his land, planted yams, cassava, and palm trees. Their household became one of the most respected in the village, not because of wealth alone, but because of the love and unity that held them together. Years later, when Chibuzo was old enough to attend school, Gozi walked him to the same red earth path where she once walked with Chukwudi as a child. She pointed to the mango tree and said, "That tree saw our tears. It also saw our joy. Remember, my son, never laugh at another person's pain. Today's tears can become tomorrow's testimony." Chibuzo nodded, storing his mother's words deep in his heart. As Chukwudi and Gozi grew old, they often sat together under the mango tree at sunset. Hand in hand, they watched their grandchildren play around them. Chukwudi would smile and say, "Our love began here. Our sorrow passed here. Our joy returned here." Gozi would rest her head on his shoulder and whisper, "Indeed, patience and love conquer all." And so, the story of Chukwudi and Gozi became a tale told by elders to children under the mango tree, a story of love, endurance, faith, and the victory of hope. Years passed peacefully in the home of Chukwudi and Gozi. Their children grew strong and intelligent, and their compound in humans became known for warmth, hospitality, and wisdom. Travelers who passed through the village often stopped under the great mango tree to rest, and elders would tell them, "That is the tree that witnessed tears turning into joy." A new trial. Just when life seemed complete, another challenge arose. One dry season, sickness spread through neighboring villages. Many children fell ill. When Chibuzo, the first son, developed a high fever, Gozi's heart shook with fear. She carried him on her back through the night to the herbalist's hut at the edge of the forest. The old healer gave herbs and prayers. Gozi stayed awake for 3 days, wiping her son's body and whispering words of hope. At dawn on the 4th day, Chibuzo opened his eyes and smiled weakly. Gozi lifted her hands to the sky. "The God who gave me this child will not take him from me." Soon, Chibuzo recovered fully. Once again, the village saw that Gozi's life was guided by strength and faith. The test of tradition. When Chibuzo became a young man, it was time for him to marry. He fell in love with a girl from a neighboring village. But her family demanded a heavy bride price, far beyond what Chukwudi could afford at the time. Some elders advised, "Let the boy forget her and choose another," but Chukwudi remembered his own love story. He told his son, "True love is worth patience. I waited for your mother, and joy came. We will work and pay the bride price honorably." Father and son farmed tirelessly. Gozi traded palm oil and woven mats. Slowly, they gathered what was needed. When the bride price was finally paid, Chibuzo's wedding was celebrated under the same mango tree. Gozi watched with tears of pride. "Now my story is repeating in my son's life, but with less pain and more wisdom," she said. Gozi's calling. As time passed, women from different villages came to seek Gozi's counsel. She listened to their worries, childlessness, family pressure, broken marriages, and encouraged them with gentle words. Soon, she was invited to village meetings to speak to young brides. She became a respected voice in humans. One day, the village chief said, "Gozi, your life has taught more than any proverb. You must lead the women's gathering of humans." Gozi accepted humbly. Under the mango tree, she led discussions, resolved disputes, and prayed with those in sorrow. Chukwudi's last gift. When Chukwudi grew old, his hair turned white like cotton. One evening, he called his family together. "This mango tree has been our witness," he said. "When I am gone, do not cut it down. Let it stand as the memory of our journey." Not long after, Chukwudi passed peacefully in his sleep. The whole village mourned. Drums beat slowly. Women cried songs of farewell. Under the mango tree, elders buried him with honor. Gozi stood strong, Though tears filled her eyes, he planted love. He harvested joy. I will continue his legacy, a legacy that lived on. Years later, Gozi also grew old. She spent her days telling stories to children under the mango tree, the same story of her life with Chakwudi. When she finally passed, the village did not mourn with sorrow alone but with gratitude. They said, she turned tears into joy, not only for herself, but for generations. Today, in humans, the mango tree still stands. Its branches wide, its roots deep. And when the wind blows through its leaves, villagers say it whispers, hope never dies.